the last episode of Brutal Malls, I reviewed the Everett Mall, a quaint yet enjoyable shopping destination located north of Seattle in Washington state. But today's video is taking us on a short 20-minute drive south to a mall called Alderwood. Apparently, in 2005, after a major expansion, Alderwood dropped mall from its name, insisting that it was instead a lifestyle center, which is basically just a mall with apartments attached to it. So, you know, get excited for that. It's mid-November in this Alderwood footage, which explains the beautiful orange and yellow leaves on the trees as we approach the mall's entrance, which was honestly a little unimpressive, at least from the direction I approached it. As I rolled up, I was greeted by a parking garage, and after driving a bit further around the building, I found another parking garage and considered the possibility that perhaps parking was the only thing Alderwood actually sold. But no, the parking was actually free and extremely convenient, as it was just a quick walk across a sky bridge before I was entering Alderwood via Nordstrom, a store that I'm not all that experienced with. I mean, I've been inside of a Nordstrom plenty of times, but usually when I'm in there, it's because I'm using it as kind of a hallway to either enter or exit the mall. I can't really say that I've ever actually bought anything there before. At some point in a mall video, I'm gonna have to actually spend some more time documenting these upscale clothing stores since they are a staple of shopping malls, but honestly, I feel out of place here. I'm a guy who wears sweatpants and plain black t-shirts 90% of the time. I don't really know what to look for in here. There's denim. I mean, if you're looking for denim, they got it. Even the rug in this section is denim themed. That's a nice touch. Across the aisle from the denim section was a little holiday toy section, which I found kind of comical because the store is attached to a mall, which I'm assuming you can find tons of toys for sale in. But hey, if you want to toy shop in a Nordstrom, then you can do it. As for me, I'm gonna get out of the Nordstrom and get busy checking out what else Alderwood has to offer. As I was just getting started exploring Alderwood, I was flagged down by a well-dressed merchant sitting at a small kiosk in the middle of the walkway. He desired to clean my shoes, which were admittedly quite dirty because although they are my nicest pair of shoes, they are also the ones that I mow the lawn in because they're very comfortable. The shoe shine salesman was pleasant, informative, and quite good at spiffing up sneakers, though I must admit it is a bit awkward to get your shoes cleaned in the middle of a public space, but the results were undeniable. In comparison to how they looked before, the clean part of my shoe looked almost brand new. Obviously, he offered to clean the rest of my shoes before I left, but I wanted to get some more comparison shots for the video when I got home, so I just walked around with unevenly clean shoes for the remainder of the day. I also ended up purchasing the shoe cleaning kit so that I could finish the job when I got home. Was it a bit overpriced at $65? Yeah, probably. Price aside though, I do think that this is a superior clean when compared to hand washing your shoes with household cleaners and a towel. I mean, my shoes look real good. New, even from a distance. So even though it was a bit expensive, at least it works. Despite its bland first impression on the drive up, the inside of this mall is impressive to say the least. Alderwood clearly defies the reputation that modern malls tend to have of being empty, out of date, and, well, sad. Alderwood is full of life, Christmas decor has started to go up all over the place, and most importantly, there are tons of stores here. I can't even remember if I saw a single empty storefront. I'm not saying that there aren't any, but I can't remember seeing them, and that's impressive. Before I made it inside of a store, though, I was drawn back outside to check out Alderwood's unique shopping courtyard. It's like an outdoor mall, if you will, a feature that definitely sets it apart as more of a lifestyle center. I guess. It's cool. I like it. Here we have a lovely fountain/art sculpture. It kind of resembles a giant poo splashing into the waters beneath it, likely representing the weightlessness and vulnerability of the average Alderwood shopper. It really makes you think. This outdoor walkway might actually be my favorite part of the mall. It's not always going to be viable to walk, especially in the rainy Pacific Northwest, but I like the design. I like the little street signs telling you where the stores are. I like the trees. I like the ground. Whilst exploring the courtyard stores, I came across a Wishes shop, which is the exact same toy and board game store that I saw in the Everett Mall, and I had no idea that it was a chain. This location felt a lot more board game focused, which I appreciated. The other store seemed like more of a toy store, which is fine for a certain demographic, I suppose. This store had a bit more of an adult feel, with D&D figures and dice prominently displayed, along with other complex-looking board games. I've never seen games displayed in glass cases like this before, but it's a cool idea because a lot of these modern games come with a bunch of pieces that look really wild when set up. Of course, our trip to the board game store wouldn't be complete without checking out their wall of Monopoly offerings, and this store has quite a few. One has to wonder how profitable these Monopoly variants are, like how often does one of these leave the shelves, and more importantly, how many people actually play them after purchase. I've got questions. I've got real Monopoly questions here. As I browsed, I heavily considered purchasing a Go board because I love the game and I don't have one of my own currently, but something about my $65 shoe cleaner purchase earlier had me reconsidering my initial impulse to buy. Instead, I decided to look around the mall a bit more. I can always come back for it later if I so desire. Really cool store though. Very big, very bright, very roomy, very board games. I will return when I have a board game that I wish to purchase. Back inside Alderwood, things are smelling pretty delicious as I wander past the Cinnabon. Not ready to eat quite yet, but I am still on the lookout for any tasty delights to tempt me as I make my way through the mall. They got a real big Lego store and a real big Build-A-Bear store that look very impressive. And were I younger and maybe looked a little less intimidating, I might have gone in those stores, but I did not wish to scare any children. So I stayed outside. Oh, hey look, there's an empty storefront. I finally found one. It's kind of a rarity in these parts, but there you go. While exploring the various corners of Alderwood, I came across this giant fuzzy box claiming to be rated Best in Show at Comic-Con. I didn't really think that I was at Comic-Con, but I suppose you can never be sure. Suddenly, my spending restraint was gone again, and I was putting my payment info into a sketchy website on my phone, after which the box magically opened up and welcomed me inside. I'm in the box. I'm in a box at the mall. I can't see shit. Okay, the lack of music in the cube was disappointing to say the least. I can literally hear children right outside its walls. It's a little immersion breaking, I'll say. I'm not really sure what to make of the cube experience. I don't really know what it's for. At first I thought it might be for taking social media photos, but then wouldn't the photographer always be in the reflection of the mirrors? I suppose I'm using it for social media, so I guess I can't judge too much. Seems like it would be a cool place to do something illegal, you know? Maybe a drug deal or perhaps some good old-fashioned public indecency. Well, maybe that's why it's got such a high rating at Comic-Con. That would make sense. Anyway, in my case, it was a complete waste of $6.50. Would not recommend. I was in a box in the mall. That's about it. While I was scoping out the food court, I got distracted by a Keymaster machine over in the corner. Unfortunately, none of the prizes really looked worth the effort or cost, really. Kind of a shame, but that just means more money to spend at Blazin' Onion, the restaurant of choice today. It seemed like kind of a sports, casual dining experience. We've got a bunch of TVs to watch the game. There's a cool looking bar over here. And yeah, there aren't a lot of people right now, but it's a bit before the dinner rush, so I can't really judge how popular this place is. I ordered a bacon aioli burger, which was really good. I mean, it was a lot of food, maybe too much food, but still really, really good. A bit messy, a little sloppy. I don't love a sloppy burger, really, but the taste was very rustic, I'll say. It was really good. I also ordered a delicious plate of fried pickles, along with a cherry pie cider, which tasted a bit medicinal to me, if I'm being honest, but I appreciated that they offered a rotating local cider option. And it was definitely more than enough to get me loosened up a bit to do some more irresponsible spending here at Alderwood. I'd like to wager a guess that, statistically speaking, Spencer's is the most popular store to wander into when you're freshly tipsy, which is why they located their store so closely to the food court. It's a perfect location, and I am going in. For those unfamiliar, Spencer's is an adult-oriented gift store and dildo depot. Mostly it's things like joke t-shirts and mugs, but the further you go back in the store, the more risque things become. I wasn't really looking to buy anything in here, honestly, but I did get tempted by a pair of sunglasses that I found in front of the vibrating devices aisle. I kind of wish I'd gotten these. I don't actually know how much of this stuff I can show on YouTube, so I'm gonna play it a little safe here, but rest assured that I had a blast at Spencer's, and I almost bought a shot glass that looked like a wiener. Right next to Spencer's was Hot Topic, which the outside doesn't look too exciting, honestly. I feel like I remember Hot Topics looking cooler from the outside. Maybe that's a fake memory, though. I don't remember. Also, Harry Potter is a lot of things, but it's not really something that I'd expect to see at a Hot Topic store. I'm not really sure how they choose which pop culture to include nowadays, but it kind of feels opposite of Hot Topic's original counterculture vibe. You know, I gotta say, visiting Hot Topic immediately after being at Spencer's Gifts is a little underwhelming. The two seem to be very similar stores, except that Hot Topic has a bunch of anime merchandise, while Spencer's specializes in innovative self-pleasure devices. At their core, though, both stores seem mostly concerned with selling me pop culture t-shirts. I really wanted some Invader Zim merch. I always do when I'm in Hot Topic. I'm kind of desperate for it, but honestly, none of what they were selling looked that appealing to me. What did catch my eye, though, was this sick Yu-Gi-Oh shirt. I mean, this right here, this is a shirt, okay? Nordstrom wishes it had these designs. All things considered, this was a pretty solid Hot Topic store. It's definitely larger than others that I've been in, and it's very well kept. Few complaints. Across from the Spencer's and Hot Topic stores is a store called Tokyo Japanese Lifestyle, and I am unashamed to admit that I'm just anime enough to want to go in there. This store featured everything you'd expect to see in Tokyo. Pocky, Sailor Moon, Inuyasha. It's like I'm really there. I wanted to get some food snacks while I was here, and I settled on the peach fettuccine al dente bouncy bites and a poppin' cookin' hamburger kit that looks different than the one I tried previously, so I wanted to give that a shot. The peach strips were actually really good. I'm not sure that I dig the pasta angle that the packaging goes for, but I definitely get them again. And as for the poppin' cookin', well, I haven't tried it yet, so I've got nothing to report on this one. Another thing I picked up at the Tokyo store was a plush collectible of Tails from the massively successful Sonic the Hedgehog multimedia franchise. I assure you it was a very mature and responsible adult purchase. Definitely something that a man in his 30s needs around the house. Man, I so wish pop figures weren't outright assault on the eyeballs. It's not every day you come across Bakura merch out in the wild, but there's just no way I can justify buying something so, hideous. But you know what I can't resist? A Yu Yu Hakusho blind bag, of course. I mean, these guys look great. I grabbed 5 of these, hoping to get the 4 main boys, and check this out. Lucky me, I was able to assemble the full fighting team with an extra Yusuke to spare. Pretty cool. This Tokyo store was a lot of fun to visit. It didn't have much floor space, but it did have a lot to choose from, and it's definitely the store that I scored the most treasures at during this mall trip. The outside of Alderwood is really cool. If it wasn't so cold, I'd definitely have walked around out here some more. But instead, let's head inside for some warmth and our last little bit of shopping here. Never had I heard of Miniso before, but that did not stop me from entering its doors. Branding inside the store refers to it as the #1 $10 store in America, and although it has a similar feel to the Tokyo store I was just in, it turns out that it's actually a Chinese cheap goods store. It kind of reminds me of Daiso, actually, but presented as more upscale. It was honestly a little odd. I wasn't sure what to make of it. The store itself looked so clean and fancy, but the goods being sold were things you'd see at a Dollar Tree or something of the sort. I think that contrast made me feel like I'd be overpaying if I bought anything in here. Like, of course the fancy store is going to overcharge me on these AA batteries, right? Why even look at the price? I didn't buy anything at this store, but it was still pretty fun poking around in there. It was definitely a little odd, maybe a bit of a confusing store, but it was still a good time. It's a little too bright and white in here for me, though. I'm more of a creature of the darkness these days. Night has fallen whilst we were shopping. For those curious, night started at about 4:30 p.m. on this November evening, and as much as I do enjoy the dark, I can't say that I much love when it gets dark early in winter. In fact, I kind of hate it. But I did not hate my time at Alderwood Mall. I enjoyed it quite a bit. In fact, I grabbed some passable coffee at the Nordstrom E-Bar and wandered around a little bit more before I went home, just because it's a fun mall to walk around. I really enjoy the outdoor areas, even if it is freezing cold and rainy outside. It's neat and kind of beautiful, if I do say so myself. You know, something I noticed while browsing the stores today is that novelty shirts must be big money at shopping malls. There were some in most of the stores that I visited today, and I also found this kiosk that would print them for you on demand here in the middle of the walkway. I don't have any statement to make about the abundance of humorous t-shirts per se, it's only an observation. This one is weird. I don't like this design. The Alderwood Mall really impressed me, and you could argue that I haven't even really seen all of it. A mall is often not only the stores inside, but the stores orbiting it as well, and Alderwood has plenty. A retro game store, a Katsu burger, and even a Dave & Buster's that recently opened, which I've yet to check out. There's just a lot to do here at this mall. It's lively, it's packed with stores, the food court is huge, and you know, it's pretty much everything I think of when I envision a trip to the mall, so I have a hard time giving it anything else but 5 stars. Would love to come back here again. But for now, we exit the same way we came in, through the Nordstrom, across the Sky Bridge, over the river, and through the woods. Thus concludes this trip to the Alderwood Mall, or how it prefers to be called nowadays, Alderwood. But hey, you know what really gives me Alderwood? Today's video sponsor, HelloFresh. It's the most festive time of the year, and HelloFresh has a whole lot of savings for you and your family. Don't know what to get your 5-year-old niece for Christmas? Well, I'm sure she'd love a subscription to the only meal kit delivery service that's Brutal Moose approved. Look over here, we're making the brown sugar bourbon pork meatloaves tonight, and if that don't get your mouth watering, then you are a f***ing liar, and Santa is going to withhold his presents from you. He told me this himself earlier before I filmed this advertisement. HelloFresh ships pre-packaged ingredients and delicious recipes right to your door, and there's also 20-minute meals and easy cleanup dishes for those who are short on time or just short in general. In fact, I hear that short people love HelloFresh. With over 35 recipes available to choose from each week, you're sure to find some meals that appeal to you and those funny little taste bumps on your mouth sponge. Cook it up, eat it up, and then shut up. Just shut up. I'm trying to tell these people about this great deal that they can get. Go to HelloFresh.com and use code BrutalMoose18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. That's HelloFresh.com, code BrutalMoose18 for 18 free meals plus free shipping. If you've been on the fence about trying HelloFresh, there's no better time than now to give it a shot. I've been eating these meals for years at this point, and I still look forward to them every night. Muy delicioso.